Hello, and thank you all for joining us once again on the Filmmaking Sucks podcast. Today we have part 2 of our sound episode. As I said last time, the sound episode recording ran really long, and I didn't want to drop a 2-hour episode up all at once. So if you haven't listened to the first part of this episode, please go back our previous episode where we discuss microphones, all the different categories of them, and how they work, what's going to work best for you. I remember when I was doing a lot of research on which microphone to buy, I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know what I was reading, and it was like reading stereo instructions. So it was very difficult for me to find exactly what I wanted in a microphone. So we wanted to provide you with a guide to what each microphone does so you can decide what it is you want on set. This episode will be discussing production, sound, as in recording on set, some of the things to look out for when you get to set. So we try to do a pretty broad sweep of everything to give you a good start off point when you're making your first or second film, and things just a good helpful guide. And then we get into post-production sound, where we discuss Foley and sound effects, music, editing programs, things of that sort. So here's part 2 on sound, production, and post-production. So let's move into the production aspect. All right. Does anybody want to start with this specifically? You have something? I have a little checklist of things for you to pay attention to when you're on set.
Well, number one for me is what you just said, which was fine with what Lynn said. Do your checks. Do your checks beforehand.
Yes. If you don't get a chance to go to the set beforehand, do it when you get there.
Yeah.
Always be smart. Schedule your crew an hour or more before your cast. Yep. That way you have the time to do these things.
Also have a crew.
And remember, as crew,
at least have a sound guy.
As crew, I'm using that very loosely.
Yes. Yeah. Remember though, as crew, if you are on time, you're already late.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a 10 o'clock set time. If you show up at 10 o'clock, you're already late.
9:30 the latest.
If you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. If you're half an hour early, you are invaluable.
Yeah.
You're half an hour early. So always, if you're on time, then you're already late.
Yeah.
Okay? The truth is, when you have a call time for 10 o'clock, yeah, it says set call 10 o'clock. No, that means you should be on set and ready to start working at 10.
Yeah.
Remember that.
And that means fed.
Huh?
That means fed.
Yeah, that doesn't mean show up to set and say, hey,
where's the coffee?
I need a cup of coffee. No, you need a cup of coffee when you get to set. You show up 15 minutes early, have your fucking coffee then. So 10 o'clock, when your set call is ready, you are ready to work.
Yeah.
All right. When you get to work, you clock in at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever. Your boss doesn't let you go walk off, go have yourself a cup of coffee, and then come back in 15 minutes, do they?
Nope.
No. As soon as you walk in the door, when you punch in, they're paying you, you start to work. Set is the same thing. 10 o'clock is your call time. You better be ready to start working at that time.
Yep.
Okay. So
also hire a sound person. If you're gonna hire anybody on your first film, always try to have a gaffer.
Make it a sound guy.
Sound guy first, gaffer second.
Yes.
Preferably with their own equipment.
So first thing to pay attention to when you're in production on the film, because wow, we're running on time here. Good.
We're running over.
We're running overtime. Yes, we're running overtime. That's what I meant. Get the mic as close to your actors as you possibly can get for every single take that you can. All right. The farther away you are from your actors, the farther away they're going to sound. All right. And the farther away they are, the more of that background sound is going to interfere in your shoot. So get
echoes.
Up. Yes, exactly.
Caves
That's
belonging.
the other thing too with microphones. When you are close up to the actor, the mic and the recorder are set to the loudest sound. It's going to pick up the loudest sound, and all the rest of this background sounds are going to drop off. And as long as your actors' voices are the clearest, loudest sound, everything else will be unnoticeable. And you won't have to bring the sound up in post, because once you start bringing the sound up in post, all those background sounds get louder too. And then you need a sound editor. We'll get to that. Number 2, I am a big believer in recording your sound separately. Do not run your sound into your camera. You don't want your sound guy and your camera guy tethered to each other.
Not to mention the fact that if you're using, I know for a fact with Canons, they do not have the best sound ports.
No,
as Manny can also attest to.
They absolutely don't.
So you don't want to use sound
because
they're
also stereo. It's a stereo wire rather than an XLR cable that's going into it. And the XLR cables are grounded. It is a 3-port wire, like a grounded electrical wire.
Yeah.
It's got a steady current running through two of those, and an alternating current running through the third, and that keeps you from getting that noise. Okay.
That pop. Yeah.
That popping. It's a grounded cable. That's what you want. And most of these DSLRs, as most of us are shooting with, do not have that option.
Nope.
So you'll be losing sound quality as a result of that. So disconnect your sound from your camera. Run sound on your camera and use it as just a backup for syncing. All right. Number 3, call your shots. Yes, you see it on set that, take one.
Scene, blah, blah, blah. Scene 15.
Scene 15, take 2.
Take 2.
And your clapboard is very important. Now, you don't need the clapboard to go in front of your camera. Many people do it because that's what you did with film, because when you were looking at film negatives, you had to know what you were looking at. And instead of rolling out the entire film, they would just look at the first couple of frames in the beginning of the film and see the clapboard, and they knew which take they were looking at. And you don't need that anymore. We're in digital. There's digital times. You don't need that anymore. You really don't. You don't need it anymore. You can do it through preview possibly, but you still don't need it. Okay? Especially because our cameras are picking up sound and then our recorders are picking up sound. So that clapboard is going to give you that. And that high sound is going to show up in your waveform in your editing as a spike. You know where to
match it up, yeah.
Yes, as a spike, exactly. So this way you can take the audio and video that's already married to each other and you can now drop your sound file into that, and you can match up the waveform by the spike in audio.
No, it has to be a high sound. I've made this mistake.
Yes, it has to be a high sound. She would stand on set sometimes
That's actually the only reason I still have a clapboard is because it's super ultra loud.
Yep. When Lynn
I've been on sets where the clapboard is broken, and it's kind of like, okay, well, I have a clipboard in my hand, and
she goes,
smack my hand to my clipboard.
And it's just a little blip.
Yeah,
and it's not high enough.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I'll snap on set because it's a high pitched sound, or clap. If you don't have a clapboard, clap.
Yeah.
Because that spike is very important. It's very important in post. It's ridiculously important. It makes things so much easier. In fact, there's a program out there. There's a couple of programs, but one of them specifically, what was the name of it?
Pluralize.
And with the Pluralize program, you can take your video files that have the audio on it already, and you take your audio files, you drop them together. You take all of them, all your video files and all your audio files, drop it into the program, and it will automatically sync up based on your clapboard sounds and the waveforms.
Man.
And it'll do it automatically. Now, you are going to have the same problem that one of our friends uses as well, and he had a problem with it. And he said it messed up all his audio and he didn't like it. Because I know he had the same problem that we've done in the past and you do in the past. Your camera will roll through 2 or 3 takes in one long file, but your audio didn't. Or your audio will run through 4 or 5 takes in one file, but your video cut after every take.
Yeah.
How can it do that? It's expecting every video file and every audio file to be a separate take, and it's going to look at it that way.
Call your shots.
That's what I'm saying. At the end,
cut after every shot.
Cut after every take.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to cut after every take because, hey, digital, it's free. You can film whatever the hell you want.
But then call everyone.
But if you're going to, when you're going to call it, if you've been rolling through everything, you want to record everything, that's great. Right before you start the new take, stop it and start it again. At the very least, do that. So this way you have a beginning of every take is the beginning of a file. And that'll make that program be able to work very smoothly for you.
And then make sure your crew is on the same page.
Yes.
Because I've done a number of different, AD/script supervisor kind of roles. And I can't even tell you how many times that when communication breaks down on a set, where you have a camera that cuts, but an audio that doesn't cut, and then audio cuts, and then, video doesn't.
Again, that's fine and the end of it, as long as the beginning of your takes, you start a new file.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. If they don't do that, then literally you have a script supervisor who's trying to take notes as to who cut, when, where, and No,
one
day we're going to cover script supervisors.
Oh God!
And she's going to love that one.
Well, I'm just going to scream the entire time.
Since a little quick aside, since we do the after hours artistry, so to speak.
Yes.
We've all been in positions where we've had to wear too many hats.
Yep.
But the thing I and we together try to give everybody or try to tell you is, even though we know that you all are going to have little to no resources at first, always try to get certain people on your set, even if it's for free. Always try to have a sound person there.
Everyone we're talking to, I'm assuming, is going to have people on set for free.
Yeah,
it happens.
That's just like your first movie or two is a lot of favors.
Big borrow and steal.
But really, if you're gonna spend any money, always have a sound person.
Yep.
And a really good up and coming AD or script supervisor. And we'll go over each role, because a lot of people are like, I need a best boy and I need this.
Yeah,
and
you don't.
And they don't even know what it means.
Yeah,
they have. You don't need a best boy.
That's what we'll do. One of these days we'll do a thing and just run down.
We'll go down all the film roles.
What are your essential roles? What you need? Because sometimes you just, again, sound guy. Get one person to do your sound.
Yes.
Who does sound and just sound. It doesn't have. We usually have
one job.
We usually have Sarah on set and she does sound, and in between takes, when we're not running sound, she's taking pictures, because pictures are very easy. She's got it hanging on her around
her neck.
Yeah, hanging around her neck, and when she puts the boom down, and she just starts snapping pictures, because she likes to take pictures, and she's a photographer. That's what she does, and she's helping out on sound. But the fact that we have her doing that sound saves so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Saves so much. All right.
So what's next?
Next thing to look for on set. Where was I at? ADR on set. ADR sucks in post. Absolutely sucks in post.
Oh, I've done it. Yeah, he is right. It sucks.
So here's one nice, easy way of doing this, of helping yourself out in advance. Once you're done filming the scene, when it's all done, tell everybody to take 5, except for your sound guy and your actors. And then take your sound guy and the actors, kick everybody else out of the room, and let your actors go through the scene once, twice, 3 times with no cameras. Do the entire scene straight through.
Without knowing to do that, I've done that.
Yeah.
Because I was shooting outside and I
just do it.
Yeah.
And just let them and the sound guy do it, so the sound guy can get right up next to them and get very clear recording of their sound. Let them actually act the scene out, not just read the lines or go through it. Let them actually act it out. So this way their inflections are still there. Their movement is all still there, because sometimes you're going to need a line or two. Like, we flubbed the line in this one take, and it was the perfect take, and damn it, we re-recorded it over there, but in another take the mic was pointed at somebody else and he sounds like he's in another room. So just do it again, take that one line from here and there, and it's literally on set ADR, and it'll save you so many. I've done it 2 or 3 times already, and it saved our asses.
Yeah, I've done it actually on every single thing I've done so far.
Yeah,
so
I've done it. I did it in an entire scene once. In Blood Slaughter, one of our scenes, the entire scene, the audio was from that take.
Oh yeah, the segment 1 of Epilogues, the one I shot Unicron, I did all the audio is from an
that
ADR
take.
Session. Yeah.
That's
because the separate audio was too much to chop up, because again I was using the Tascam, so I couldn't
you get a lot of noise in the middle.
I couldn't just keep chopping it up. But I did 3 takes of ADR session, and the entire one scene of them talking in the chairs is all ADR.
Okay,
like on set ADR.
Awesome. Here's something little. If you're in a small room and you get a lot of echo, open the doors, not the windows. Open the doors, because that will allow some of the echo to filter out of the room.
One of the other things you can do is have thick blankets, like wool blankets. You see them on professional sets. They have these like padded blankets. And then you literally just hang it up behind your sound guy to cut down on echoes.
Yeah, so if all your actors, the whole scene is taking part in one side of the room, hang a big woolen thick blanket on the other side of the wall, and that'll muffle echo. When the sound goes that way, it doesn't bounce off. The material will absorb a lot of sound, And that'll help you out. If you're in a bathroom, cover one or two of the walls that you're not shooting, cover it with a blanket. And that'll really absorb quite a bit of sound. You probably won't notice it with your bare ears, but your sound guy will notice it. And he'll thank you. Close all your windows. Close your freaking windows. Close the windows. There is so much stuff happening outside that world that you cannot stop. Birds and cars
Crickets.
and construction crews and crickets.
Ice cream men.
Ice cream men and annoying children. Well, no, the ice cream men, that's going to come through your window no matter what.
Yeah, it's true.
But
Also more
there's
crickets.
annoying children outside and dogs barking.
Tweeting birds.
There's an entire world happening out there.
And rap music from cars.
Yes. Close your goddamn windows.
And crickets.
Yep. In between takes, open them back up, but have somebody who closes them again.
Oh, we forgot one, airplanes.
Oh, God. You know? And have somebody who pays attention to the windows. The person who opened the windows, let that same person close them.
As I hear cars behind me nonstop.
Yeah. But I don't hear them.
Yeah.
Again, because you're using a dynamic microphone, which you need to be very close to it. So unless it's very loud, it's fine. But close the windows. Have the same person open them and the same person close them so they remember which windows they opened. If you have 3 different people open the windows, guarantee you one of them will miss one. Guaranteed.
Shooting with task cams and small recorders outside is the worst because, like I said, I mentioned crickets like 100 times because I was on a film set, one of my first film sets. All you hear is crickets.
Yeah.
It's just all crickets and cars.
Yep.
So many
Blood
crickets.
slaughter. All we heard was tweeting birds.
Tweeting birds. Tweeting birds. We're shooting in October and we're shooting. It's supposed to take place on Halloween and we're hearing springtime birds. Cheep, 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 cheep. I hate birds.
You know, like not the bees from Wicker Man, not the crickets.
No,
It's
not
just
the
so
crickets.
many crickets. We're on a farm, a horse farm, crickets.
Here's another
everywhere.
one. Have your actors take off their shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Walk around barefoot in the scene.
Oh, you mean so when you shoot a scene for a party with high school girls and they're all wearing
and
high
they're all in
heels?
heels. Exactly.
Or when
No
somebody's
heels.
wearing slippers and it's
Somebody-
just
Because slippers, nobody picks up their feet in slippers. You slide around the house in slippers. Everybody does. You slide around the house. So it's through everything.
yeah. What do they call the Ugg boot sound? There was some nickname
Oh
for it.
my God, ugly, ugly.
They make that
sound.
squish noise.
Oh my God!
It's like
if you can have people, unless you have an actress who her scene is she's in high heels when she walks in and makes her taller than other people, and you can't have her take off those heels, unfortunately, because now she's going to be shorter in the scene, and that sucks. That really sucks. So what you do, limit her movements, or it would suck. Put some thick blankets on the floor and let her walk on those, something. But all of that creaking and cracking, their feet hitting the ground is sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you need them to be wearing shoes or you just forgot and it sucks. But if you can have all of your
I have
actors,
a mental checklist of stuff I haven't done yet that I'm just.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
like, oh,
I'm already like
okay.
imagining my clipboard. I'm just gonna get one of those labelers and just stick them onto the
Yep.
back of my clipboard.
If you can have your actors take off their shoes and walk around the scene in socks, then do so because you'll love it. You'll absolutely love your sound that way.
I'm kind of lucky I
didn't.
didn't get that on my last shoot,
Yep.
but that would have been a problem had I thought of it. I told everybody to wear sneakers and it wasn't that bad.
I had one scene in Theta States where she's walking around and she's got those heels clip clop all over the place. Okay, we actually had you go back and record her just walking.
I remember.
Because some takes sometimes she walked through the audio and sometimes she didn't. Sometimes she stood still, sometimes she did some walking. But she's walking in the take that I used, okay? But I used audio from a different take and we added the sound back in. So I used a clean take of audio and then I put the sound of her footsteps back in because it was just clip-clopping a minute ago. Now it's not.
Is that a good way of saying we should go into room tone and Foley?
That's actually my very next one. Yeah. My very next one. Get as many sound effects as possible on set. Anything, even if you think you're not going to use it in the movie, get it and record it and create your own little sound library.
And you'll have it later on.
Yep. Make your own little sound library. Record anything that makes sound.
I recorded room tone for their current feature film, Theta States. I got the elevator going up and down roughly about 5 or 6 times.
Yep.
I got like 4 minutes of just straight up nothingness from room tone. That nothing
Now,
noise.
room tone, the reason why we talk about room tone, let's explain what room tone actually is. It is the sound of the empty room, of the bare room itself.
It does make a noise.
It actually does. It really, and every single room and location has a different sound. It's a different signature sound to it.
Also, what your brain does when there's no noise, when it's at below 0 decibels, your brain makes you start hallucinating eventually, because it's scrambling to hear something and it hears nothing. So you start visualizing what you're not hearing, and you see things that aren't there.
Now, the importance of room
That's
tone,
like a scientific fact too.
It is. It absolutely is. Yes, your brain will hallucinate when it has no sound or visual. It's sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the main importance of room tone is when you are editing. Sometimes you're using different takes of audio. Obviously, it's going to happen. Sometimes you're adding breaks as well. Sometimes with the cut, you want somebody to have a pause in between their words, and it wasn't there on set. I've done that plenty of times.
And then it's like, hey, Manny, and then there's nothing.
Hey, man, here's what it's going to sound like. Hey, Manny, guess what I thought of? Now, everybody's going to hear that. Everybody's going to hear it. You guys don't hear anything because I'm just hitting buttons over here.
Yep.
But I heard it in my headphones. And that's what your sound is going to sound like when you start adding breaks in. What you do then is, with that bare room tone sound, which is literally putting a microphone in the room with all your actors and everybody standing inside of it, stand still for 3 minutes and just record the sound of the room. Turn the volume up on the recorder just a little bit more so you get the actual thickness of the room and that bare empty space. And then when you're recording and you add those little drops of those little cuts and breaks in it, you put this layer underneath it to clear out that sound.
Also, you want to lower the pitch of this layer as well, or bleed it into the actual dialogue, so it doesn't. It
takes a little EQing to get it it right.
Because it will chop through other noises, so you got to be careful.
Absolutely. There is a little bit of finagling in post, but that's the importance of your room tone. And if you watch indie films, you hear it.
Oh, you hear those blank. You hear those blank
shots. Go on YouTube
shots.
right now. Well, not right now. Wait till the show's over. But go on YouTube right now. Look for some low budget indie films, and you'll hear the breaks in that audio because they did not use room tone properly. You'll hear it, and that is the most distracting thing in the world.
Besides someone talking on screen on a close up, and they sound like they're a mile away.
Yeah. Yep.
Or wind.
Or somebody
or both.
talking on screen and then the words coming later. That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Like a delay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. That's terrible.
So we should kind of go into post.
Yes, let's move into post-production.
Well, I have one more tip for production.
All right.
Just a real quick one.
Oh, the producer has a tip for production.
Yes. Oh my God. Freaking bring an extra set of headphones, please. Have an extra one in your bag. I cannot tell you how many sets I've been on that I'm literally watching the minutes just click away as we scramble to find one person who has a pair of earbuds.
I have a separate pair. I have a pair of earbuds that I keep in my camera bag because my boom headphones are big headphones, and you don't want to throw these in a bag because they're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
So I have a separate pair of earbud headphones that I keep in my camera bag just in case I forget to grab the headphones on the way out the door.
I've forgotten headphones almost every single time I've shot, except for the last two. So
and then you end up walking around. Who's got an iPod? Who's got an iPod? Who's got
I've had
headphones?
to borrow headphones a bunch of times from people.
And then if you don't have the earbuds, guess what? Nobody is now monitoring the
I had to run across to a drugstore where we film, and I had to buy them for $20 when they're worth
time and
$4.
money. And that's always have an extra set of headphones in your bag.
Yeah.
Always, because you're going to need them. All right. Post-production.
Hey, you know what's not fun?
What?
Post-production ADR.
Editing sound is hell, and ADR is a nightmare.
As of this recording, my third episode of my web series should have been out roughly about 7 months ago. Mm-hmm. Sound got corrupted, and guess who's been trying to fix that ever since?
Yeah.
This guy.
Yep. In your contracts with your actors, make sure you put into your contracts if you have contracts. Most of you don't fucking shoot anything without a contract.
I have a contract.
Don't you dare shoot a damn thing without signing release forms and agreements on your film. I'm looking at you, Mario.
I do that now.
You now. Oh, no, I do that now. Did you hear that? Did you hear the pause?
Well,
I do that now.
Yeah.
I actually got release forms from everybody, actually. So eventually.
Yes. Always have
Not
people
at first,
sign a
but
contract. We'll get into contracts in another episode, but always sign that. Inside that contract, make sure you put a stipulation in there that they are to make themselves available for ADR sessions in the future. Even
Yes.
if the movie is done, it's hell. If your movie's done and you've got 6 months from now, you realize, damn it, I need this scene to be ADR. Good luck getting it ready to come back.
That's the problem I'm having now, by the way. So listen to this and do it.
As soon as you are done with people, start to schedule an ADR session.
Yeah.
As soon as you shoot a scene, go home when it's done. Go through your scenes and look for what you do and do not need. Start logging your footage immediately. Listen to your audio. Watch your video and see what you need. And as soon as it's done, 2-3 days it'll take you to get through everything, probably hopefully less. Maybe you can do it in one day if you got nothing to do. You shoot on a Saturday, Sunday, go through all your footage. Check, make sure everything is there. And if you get on that Sunday, damn it, we didn't get a clear shot of this, or we didn't get a clear audio of this. Call your actor right then and there and say, hey, once the movie's done, I'm gonna need some ADR, or even before then. Schedule an ADR session with them.
If you have a shoot scheduled with the actor,
I've done that.
Do it then.
I've done that. Hey, we're shooting on another day. I missed a line from you. Let me get that line 3, 4, 5 times. Just say it. Just say the damn line inside this room, and do it right then.
Here's a nightmare story. On the Spies Files, you can. It's not, honestly, this is not self-promotion. This is actually just cautionary so you can see what I am talking about and hear what I'm talking about. I had to ADR the first 10 minutes of my first episode. You could check it out. It's just look up the Spies Files. It's episode 0 on YouTube. Watch that and you'll see what ADR looks like when you have someone who is not compliant with ADRing I had a screen with the actual show playing so we could ADR every specific thing.
That's how you do
and
it.
That's how you do post-production ADR the way you're supposed to, looking on a screen. They have, recorder in front of them and they're looking at the screen, saying what they're saying on screen so it matches up. Mm-hmm. My actor could not do it. Just couldn't do it.
It's very difficult.
It is not easy. It's not easy.
It's very
it takes
difficult to do it.
Time and practice.
It does.
And you have to watch it over and over and
Especially
over
when it's
again.
like a highly emotional scene, or
and
screaming
yelling,
and
or they flub a line, or you edited it a certain way. You need to make sure that, like what Manny is saying, try to get it beforehand, because even later on, it's really a pain in the ass.
Try to schedule it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you know what? We're going to need this extra line. If we can't get it before then, when the movie is done shooting, let's say let's say from right now, all right, we're shooting this movie right now. We're going to finish. The last day of shooting is March 29th. Wonderful. Sometime in April, I want to schedule an ADR session with you. And then you're just going through your audio and finding out what you're missing and everything. And then you just schedule it. So this way you can go through everything you need from that. Or even 6 months from now, say, hey, I want to schedule an ADR session for, all right, we finish March 29th. Sometime in June, I want to get together. Put that in place with your actors now so that they know you're going to be calling them at that point in time, and you can schedule as soon as you know everything you need. I'm going to schedule you a date in June. Excellent. That gives them, 3, 4, 5 months to plan that you're going to need them.
Yeah.
And they know it. It's just like a gig. This is another day. You're going to have to come in and do some stuff for the movie. I don't know what it's going to be, but let me schedule it. Hey, you might not need it. You might not even need that, but
I had to
just schedule it. It's easier to cancel than to try to chase somebody down.
I had to change story elements in one of my episodes because people wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
Like, just to I offered to go to them to do this, and they were like, "No, sorry, I have a kid now," or "No, sorry, I'm busy." So it was such a nightmare. And the thing is, the third episode of my show deals with being outside and showing raw footage. So what I did was, because I had some actors and actresses not be very compliant with the ADR thing that Manny was talking about. Basically, I had to dirty up the footage and make it seem like there were chunks missing, or it was getting scrambled and whatnot. The camera got dropped, so I had to do that.
How many damn things do you drop on your set? Jesus, man, I gotta start gluing your camera and your
gotta
audio
tape them
to your
down.
hand.
Yeah,
Gotta tape it down. One other thing, one little thing I want to ADR, for those of you who don't know what an ADR is, additional dialogue recording. That's what it stands for. ADR is recording dialogue of your actors post.
Production.
Yes, in post. You get to your audio, you realize that the line didn't sound right, or you said you didn't like how he said it, you didn't say it clear enough, the mic wasn't close enough. Here's another problem with that. If you are going to ADR a scene, you need to ADR the entire scene.
Yep.
Do not ADR a sentence. Unless
I
you're
made
a professional.
that mistake too.
Unless you're a professional, in which case you know how to level things out properly and add reverb to it and everything, because every room that you record in sounds completely different. And having your actor sit in front of a microphone and say his lines sounds entirely different than your actor who was on set in the sheetrock factory that you were shooting your scene in. That room sounds completely different. And their inflections and their motions and everything. We had, we shot the ending of the movie, and we had Tom Ryan in the room in this maybe a 15 by 12 foot room. Yeah. Okay, and he was doing a scene. I had to ADR him, and we didn't have the location again to do it. So I did it in a hotel room, approximately the same size, and I had him act it out. I had him act out the scene. He was crawling on the floor for the scene. I told him, get on the floor and crawl and act it out. So that this way, the sound matches what he was actually doing. If he just stands there and talks into the microphone, it's way too clear. It's way too clear. He's moving, he's breathing, he's huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
He's moving with it. If he's just sitting there still, there's no inflection, there's no motion, there's no nothing to it.
Oh, just a minute. You just wanted to get
clear.
Tom Ryan on the floor, and
I just wanted to knock him.
again.
I just wanted to knock him over. I heard him one more time. That's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yes, when you're doing your ADR, you're going to end up having to do the entire scene more than likely.
Yeah.
Because if you redo just one line, suddenly that audio is going to stand out. So really, really try to get on set sound.
I made that mistake.
Yes, get your sound on set perfect when you're there. Okay, spend extra time getting that sound done because you don't want to ADR a 10-minute scene.
So always turn around and ask your sound guy, do you want coverage? Did you get it?
Yeah. So
make sure your sound person knows what coverage is.
That's an important thing.
Yes.
If they do not know, tell them immediately.
Mm-hmm. What is coverage? Explain it. What is coverage?
Coverage is when you make sure you have backups of scenes with audio and or visual aids.
There you go. We have backup. Extra.
You have
extra.
a good take of...
A good take.
Do you have a backup?
An extra good take.
Yeah.
A second good take.
That on-set audio, the ADR we were talking about, that's coverage, basically.
So now we're in post, and we're talking. We did ADR already. Let's say you didn't get your sound effects. You have Foley now that you have to do. You need to re-record sound effects, and that's fun. Foley can be really fun, but it's tedious. It's very tedious recording sound effects. There's a book. What's the name of it? It's over there, right there. It's over there. Look. The sound. What?
I don't even know where I'm looking.
Oh my God! Look at there's a stack of books right there.
The Sound Effect Bible.
The Sound Effects Bible. This book will explain to you how to do certain sound effects. Get this book. It's cool. It's fun. It tells you all about sound, all different frequencies, and it'll explain how to record multiple different sounds.
I have one.
It's awesome.
I have one I want to talk about right now because
Go ahead.
it's hilarious to me.
She's so bored now. She is so done. She is checked out.
When two people are
damn
kissing,
producers don't care.
When two people are kissing on screen, the proper way to Foley that is to stir macaroni.
That's hilarious.
It is.
Really?
If two people are making out, French kissing,
Macaroni.
stirring macaroni is how you
That's good.
Foley that.
That's good. So get yourself a copy of the Sound Effects Bible, and that'll explain everything when it comes to Foley and recording sound effects and all that. It's a really cool resource to have. If you're not going to have the ability to do your own recording, let's say you hired a sound guy and he had all his own equipment, and you want to do Foley. Okay, you're going to end up pay. He's got all right. I have a $300 a day fee in order to record your Foley. Okay, I can't afford that. I didn't put that in my budget because I fucked that up. It's not in my budget. I don't have a post-production budget. Who has a post-production budget?
Smart people who know to instantly take 15% of your budget and put it away for post-production and then lie to the director saying that you do not have that money.
That's what she does to me. So she does. She puts the money aside and she tells me, nope, we only have this much money.
Nope,
and then suddenly when we're in post, there's an extra couple $1,000. Where'd this come from? I lied.
And you know what the funny part is? You're going to fall for that every single time.
I am. Yeah. It's fine. That's
So
fine.
far he has, and I told him that during Blood Slaughter.
It's like, I'm going to hide money from you next
told me
time.
that- she told me that
Why do we
movies
only
ago.
have X amount of dollars? Because.
She told me that 2 movies ago. So be it, because it doesn't matter. Anyway, whip out that little credit card of yours. My recommendation,
Or ask Aunt
if you can't do
Justine
well,
or
this
whoever.
is see here. Now,
Listen,
this
wait
is-
for your birthday.
we're
Wait for
talking
Grandma
cheap.
to send you $10.
Yep,
And
$10.
Take the $10.
$10. Here's what you're gonna do. You cannot do your own Foley. My recommendation, there's plenty of other websites out there, but my recommendation is Audio Hero. They are not paying us for this. We have no sponsored endorsements or nothing. I have personally, though, used audiohero.com. I like it. It's very, I like the layout.
It's inexpensive.
It's
too.
very inexpensive. You will get yourself a 1-month free trial, and for that free trial, you will get 50 downloads. They have sound effects and music, and I'll get into music in a second because I hate people's music. I'm very picky about music.
Oh, yeah.
my God.
Oh, shush. Anyway, you will get sound effects and music. Sound effects, I believe, are $1.99 per sound effect. Music is $9.99 each. Or you get the free month with 50 downloads, and that will include sound effects or music. Even though they are different costs, they count as a download. All right? You'll get 50 downloads for the first free month, and then you can get a subscription service for them. $10 a month, 50 downloads every month.
100. No,
No, it's 50.
You're 50.
It's 50. Okay. Maybe it is 100. I don't know. It's 50 or whatever. The point is,
Use this
you will
website.
now get 100. You get your first 50 downloads for free, and then another 50 downloads for $10. So for $10, you will get 100 downloads of sound effects and music.
And trust me,
did
those
just
50
that.
downloads go real quick.
They did. But they didn't. So not for me. The first 50 do. The first
Yeah.
50 go quick. But that next 50, I think I got to about 80 or so from the whole movie. For all the sound effects that I was missing and some of the filler music and everything, I got to about 75 or 80. When I was full, that's it. The movie was done, and I didn't need any more. Now I've got an extra 20 downloads. So I just started saying to myself, "Hey, I've got other projects coming up. What am I going to need? What am I going to need? What am I going to shoot?" We knew that we were going to do the au pair, so I was going to need sounds of babies crying. Of a baby crying for that. I was going to need cooking sounds because she was doing a scene in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to need this, that, and I knew the guy was going to be watching TV, so I needed sounds of a TV because that's all copyrighted. You can't just point your freaking microphone to the TV and record it. So I got sound effects of a sports cast, and the guy's watching sports on TV. And I got 5 or 6 downloads in advance from that, and I got a bunch of music on top because I knew we had the podcasts. Fine, I need filler music for the podcast, and I downloaded that. So I got 100 downloads of sound effects and music for $10. If you can't afford $10 to save the sound effects and music of your movie, you shouldn't be making movies.
I agree.
Now you're officially hitting that point where this is dirt cheap. You can't ask for anything more.
Oh, and another quick little,
Go ahead.
aside.
Try to making it quick.
A quick little aside.
An hour and a half into it, we're making it quick.
We shoot in New York City, and we constantly, there's actually a really fun little video that we made of it, have an ice cream man in all of our scenes that are
God.
outside.
Ice cream man.
The ice cream man. And by the way, you reminded me, ice cream man's music is copyrighted. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to put it up
And
somewhere on YouTube or something,
Yes, the ice cream man. That little jingle is copyrighted music. So if it is in the background of your scene, you can't have it there. You have to remove it because
And
it's
super racist.
copyrighted music. That's fine. It's super racist. We'll
Yes.
we'll do an entire episode on just
Nah,
how
it's okay.
racist it is.
Anyway,
But yes, that music is copyrighted. You cannot have it in your scene.
same
so-
thing with YouTube videos. Speaking of copyrighted stuff, real quick. I mean, we'll get into copyrighted stuff later at a separate time.
Not today.
Yeah. Just make sure you own or have written permission by
use everything.
whatever artist.
Yes,
Because
written permission.
I used royalty-free music that I donated to the website of, and I got hit with a copyright claim on YouTube that they still, a year and change
It wasn't on
later,
your invoice?
have not. Huh?
it wasn't on your invoice or your receipt or something
No,
for your
it's
donation?
something he
donation.
downloaded for free.
Yeah, in Computech, which, by the way, if you're an indie filmmaker, Kevin MacLeod is your Lord and Savior.
No,
for the
he's
first little
not.
bit.
Oh, please,
No, he's
no.
not. No, he's not. You know what? It was a great resource 10 years ago when he started doing it. Now everyone uses it. Any filmmaker watching your movie knows Incompetech music, and as soon as it hits this, I roll my eyes.
I've had no peace at all for years. Every time I hear it, oh, it's the music every single time.
Yeah.
Anyway, besides that,
okay, but the point is, it's
I
not
used
just
his
me.
stuff and I got hit with a copyright claim.
Yeah. I use his
Not by
stuff
him.
too. I use his stuff too. I have used it in the past, and I search for those tracks that nobody wants. I use it for little bits here and there. I used it for a commercial jingle once, and I use it. And then I actually paid for it. Because once I paid for it, I get a license to use it, and I don't have to credit him either, so I don't have to put a website at the end, which is going to negate my distribution.
I paid too, so.
And you can use it all you want, and you get a license. You get a license for it.
I sent YouTube that, and they still have not responded. And I've sent like 6 or 7 emails.
Well, YouTube's assholes. Yeah. You're going to edit your sound. You get yourself Audacity. Audacity is a free audio program. You can edit your audio through that if you want to do your high and low pass filters. You want to EQ. You want to add whatever you want to it. Most video editors will do some level of sound editing, but Audacity is a free audio editor. So download that. You want to You don't know what to edit your movie on? Edit it in DaVinci. DaVinci is a free video editor. And now, up till now, it's been a free color correction app. Now they've added nonlinear editing into it, so you can actually edit your entire movie on DaVinci for free.
Nice.
For free. So get DaVinci. The only thing with DaVinci is you have to pay for it if you're going to render in 4K or larger than HD. You're going to render anything larger than HD, you have to pay for it.
So Blu-ray or 4K, yeah.
Yes. So Blu-ray or less, and it's totally free to edit and render. Get DaVinci. Get DaVinci.
If you can't afford
free. Yeah. Get DaVinci. Get yourself Audacity.
Comes with most
Apple computers.
Yeah, Final Cut X comes with most Apple computers.
Any Blackmagic Cinema products will come with a full version of DaVinci as well. Blackmagic cameras come with
Ursas and stuff. Yeah,
every Blackmagic camera will come with a free copy of the full version of DaVinci. Comes with it. Yes. So edit your audio in Audacity, your video in DaVinci. I don't use DaVinci yet, but I'm working towards it. Audio Hero is a great way of getting. There's other sound library things out there.
There's all free ones, but they don't sound great. They're waves, and they're like,
Yeah. Sometimes you need a little tiny sound effect. You can find it on YouTube, and most people you're not going to find it. There's a million sound effects that sound just like it. So prove that I used yours. I know, terrible of me. There's,
keepvid.com.
Judgmental head
render your film in stereo. Don't touch 5.1. You're going to screw up your sound unless you know how to work 5.1 sound editing and you know how to send certain sounds into specific speakers. You know how to do it. Don't do it. Do not do it. Keep it in stereo. On top of that, when you do a distributor, if you got all fancy with your 5.1 sound, you're gonna have yourself a low-level distributor. Chances are you're not sending it to Lionsgate, who's going to render this out to 7.1 and give you an amazing sounding DVD. You're not making Jurassic Park here, okay? You render it in 5.1, and you have sounds in your back speakers. They're gonna tell you to take it out, because they don't want it there. Unless it's a little accent sound here or there, little blips and bops there.
Plus, when bad people set up bad surround sound, you get dialogue coming out of the left speaker and you can't hear anything. Then you hear loud explosions.
Yep, exactly.
A lot of the HD TVs from like 10 years ago had that issue with their speakers because they tried that all-around stereo. Mm-hmm. So you'd get people talking like this and then a giant explosion that's so loud, and then you're like, why can't I hear anything? But I can hear explosions.
It's set up improperly.
Yeah.
A lot of people screw up their home sound systems, and because of that, because of the fact that they're setting it up improperly, but they don't realize it because most TV is just 2-channel.
Yeah.
You're getting stereo out of your TV set. Now suddenly you pop a 5.1 disc in your player, and like you just said, you get all this uneven sound. They automatically think there's something wrong with the people who made the disc. So there's a chance you stop buying from that company because they screwed up their sound. They did it themselves. You did it properly, but they did it wrong, and they're going to blame you because they couldn't possibly be wrong. So Keep it in stereo unless you have a professional do it.
By the way, if you can afford to have somebody sound edit for you, you
it.
should probably do that.
Yes, like a lot of set sound guys will do post editing as well. A lot of them will.
If you're hiring them, yes.
And the last thing I want to talk about very quickly, we'll get to this very quickly, of post M&E tracks. This is the reason why you need your sound effects to be done. Your M&E is your music and effects track. All right. This can be very expensive to get done and take a lot of time and effort. If you're going to get your film sold, your M&E track is almost necessary unless you're keeping it domestic. We're talking, we're in America. Let's talk America. We're selling it here in America. You're not going to need an M&E track. You're not going to need one. But if you're going to sell your movie in any country, if your distributor is going to sell it in any country other than America, you need a music and effects track. And what that is your entire movie done with everything in it except the dialogue. All the dialogue taken out of the movie. All your music.
Dubbed.
Yep. All your music and all your sound effects have to be in the film. And the entire thing is just going to sound like you're basically watching the film, and it's going to sound like your actors' voices have been muted. But all their movements, their footsteps, their grabbing the handle, touching, all that is still there. It just sounds like their voices have been muted.
And you need that for international
You need
dubbing.
that for international sales. And if you don't have that, then your distributor, number one, they're going to tell you, well, then you're not getting dubbed in other countries, and that's going to limit where we can sell it. Or your distributor may offer to do it and charge you $15,000 to do it.
Yeah.
They'll charge you to do it, and that's going to come right off of your sales. Now you got 15 grand or so for them to make back before you see a cent.
Or you'll just lose the deal entirely.
Yeah, or you'll just lose the deal entirely.
There is a clause in most distribution contracts that says if you fail to provide all of the required deliverables, the contract is null and void.
Yep.
Which means potential dubbing. Also, even though this has nothing to do with sound, we'll get into it another time, closed captioning, which is also another gigantic bullshit nightmare that you never want to have to deal with.
Closed captioning and subtitles are two entirely different things. We'll get into that too. But yes, those are something, if you can get it done, hell, you can do it yourself. Vimeo is a really great resource. You upload your video to Vimeo. You can do your own subtitles onto it, on Vimeo themselves, and do it. And then with that, you can download the subtitles file, and your subtitles are now done.
Oh, nice. So you could put it all in French and Chinese and stuff.
You can actually do your own subtitles through Vimeo.
Well, there's a website that does it.
Yes, there is. You
people get paid like nothing to...
It's something, I forget the name of it, but it's something like $1 a minute. So if you have a 90-minute movie, it's going to cost you $90 for them to subtitle or close caption your entire film.
Yeah, but
it's really cool. That if you don't have the patience to do it, let them for $90, let them do it. Let them freaking do it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a transcribing, closed caption, and subtitling.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And translating. Also.
But that's an entirely different subject. We're talking sound right now. So your M&E tracks are something you're going to need for international distribution. So keep that in mind. Don't do your M&E tracks yet. Do not do it until you know you're getting
a foreign deal.
Not even that your distributor is going to require it.
Okay.
They give you, I think it's 3 to 6 months or so to get all your deliverables together.
They'll give you time to do it, but don't do it until, because it's a lot of work and a lot of time, and if you can't do it on your own, it's expensive. It's going to be expensive for somebody to Foley all of your sound, and it's very difficult. It's a huge headache. But if you're not going to sell it internationally, then there's no reason to spend all your time redubbing all of those sound effects. There's no reason for you to do it. All right? So, is there anything else on sound now that we're literally over an hour and a half, hour 45?
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
The only thing we didn't talk about was lav microphones.
Wireless mics. I'm not a huge fan of them, simply because of the small scales we're working on. If you had a sound team of people to work with, they're good.
There's an iPhone app that helps you do it now too.
Yes, there is. Yeah. You hook the lav mic into your iPhone, and
You run it behind an actor and clip it onto like the shirt or something.
Keep it in their pocket.
Yeah.
You can keep the iPhone in their pocket and it'll record it, which is nice, but
It still
there's no
doesn't
way to
sound
monitor
great, by the way,
it. You can't
either.
monitor it. That's the problem. You can't monitor the sound. You don't know what it actually sounds like or what it's getting. Or if the wire disconnected in their pocket and the actor's too busy in the scene to understand this.
Yeah, and I mean also your actors need to be able to know how to work around it, how not to bump it, how not to rub their
Lav mics are
sleeve
omnidirectional.
across it.
Lav mics are omnidirectional. So they're picking up a full round of sound. I don't really recommend it unless you have sound people to help you with.
I just thought it
and
was
do
important to bring that
It
up.
is. It is important, and it's nice. You can get some really good clear sound off of it if you're miking all your actors. You're going to get some nice good stuff off of it, but I would suggest against it for now. So are we done? We're done?
We're done.
Yeah.
We're good with sound. Thank you all.
I don't want to hear any more about sound.
Yes.
No.
Thank you all for listening to this long episode.
This is for the nerds out there.
Yeah. But hopefully we helped and we gave you a lot of information that you'll hopefully need, like, and enjoy.
And if not, reach out to us always.
Yeah,
We'll be happy to answer
If
questions.
there's anything about sound, or anything in general that you think that we didn't cover, email us at filmmakingsucks@gmail.com. You can go to massgravepictures.com, download previous episodes of the show, download future episodes of the show, go on iTunes and Google Play. You can subscribe to us on Filmmaking Sucks.
Hashtag show us your first.
Show us your first. Yes, send us your first film. We're still looking for those. Show us your first film. We'd love to see it. We'll post it on our pages. So thank you all for listening. Good luck, everybody, and make good films.
Yes.